Hey guys, how's it going? It's Rafael from Black Lotus Audio, and today I'm going to show you some tips and tricks to create some really authentic analog sounds using Serum or any synth that you can use. So if you use Pigments, if you use Vital, if you use Massive, these tips apply to everything. So I'm going to show you our tips and tricks on how to emulate analog gear. So without talking much longer, let's go into our DAW and get started with this tutorial. So I have here an empty Serum, and the first thing that I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go here into our analog for Serum folder, and this is a wavetable pack that we have for sale on Black Lotus Audio. So if you want to have these real actual sampled analog wavetables, the link is in the description as always. So I'm gonna load this Frankensaw that we have here, and this Frankensaw is something really interesting because what we did is we sampled each individual note of a saw, and as you guys can see, as the octave goes higher, the waveform changes because every note is different in a analog synthesizer, and this is emulating that. So we're gonna go here, drag our note tracking. I'm gonna play the lowest note that I know can be played. And you guys can see here, there's a green dot, so I'm going to align that first dot there with here. I'm going to align that high note over here. And as you guys can see, every time I press one note, it sort of changes and switches between these. And that's exactly what we want. We want to add a little bit of more randomness. So I'm going to go right click here into the mod source and going to press note on rand number 1. I'm going to go into the matrix. I'm going to set it to unipolar so it goes both sides. I'm going to set it very low to around 3. Now every time I press a note, it sort of switches around. I can make it more aggressive, so I can set it to like 20, and now I'm going to route it to macro 1 so that this controls the amount of change that's happening. And this is really cool because now we can create this vintage knob here, and this is gonna really destroy and really make the synth sound a lot older. Our next step into creating some really authentic sounding synth here is to just take the random phase trigger all the way down to 0, set the phase to 0 degrees, and we're gonna manually control the phase using our LFO. And I like to use something around 0.1. And what I can do is, again, I can take the vintage knob, crank it up just a tiny bit. Now if we want to even destroy and make it a lot older, we can slightly detune this using note on random number 2. And we're gonna take that again, put it very low. Something around 40, and again macro 1 to control the amount. We can add some white noise here, and we can actually use these analog white noise that it's already pre-built into Serum, so you don't need new white noises. You can use those. So I'm gonna have it very subtle so that's barely noticeable, and then add the vintage knob. Then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna copy A to B, and I'm gonna use this option with mods here so that everything is already routed. I'm gonna change the phase position here and use LFO number 2, and I'm gonna slightly make it slower. And again, I'm gonna use sort of the same technique here. And then I'm going to use random number 1 here on the detuning here. I'm going to add a detune knob here. And it sounds so raw, so analog already because we have so many factors in here. Now we can switch this random number 1 here with random number 2 to add even more randomness. I'm going to call this one here detune. I'm going to add a filter here, and I really like the 24 step here. I'm going to create another macro here. And this one's going to be like the filter macro. I'm going to add a velocity here. And now I'm going to add here our macro number 3. I'm going to lower the noise just a little bit because the compressor is now raising the volume quite a bit. So now I want it to. And again, now I want to add here a note on rand here. And we can use on rand number 1. You can really decrease this to around 5. So it slightly triggers the filter differently, so every note is different. And what we want, because the natural what really makes analog special is that randomness, that undistinguishable, like that imperfection that has like that imperfection in analog hardware is what really gives it that nice organic tone, and that's what we want to replicate and what we want to recreate here in our synth. And right now I feel it sounds a little bit too thin, so I'm gonna add a EQ here to sort of like change it up a little bit. So now I'm gonna give it a little bit more character, and what I'm gonna do is that I'm gonna increase a little bit the low end here to maybe around 4 dBs, something like that. I'm gonna take the curve here amount all the way down. And I'm gonna really crank the high end to around something like that. And again, I'm gonna soften this Q knob here. And now to make it even more analog, I'm gonna add this nice little curve, and what this is gonna do is gonna create a really, really subtle drop off in the high end, and it's gonna give it a more warm tone that I really love. I'm gonna add a little bit of release. I'm gonna add a very, very subtle amount of distortion here just to really soften the sound a little bit. And if I really want to destroy it, I can crank it. And now one final thing that we can do. And now one final thing that we can do here on this preset is that we can go here, we can reset all of these. So now that we reset all of these, I'm going to create this ADSR. And it's going to create this really awesome knob that we can change from a plucky sound. We can go here Again. And now we can create this really awesome. And it's really responsive to your playing. So if you're really aggressive, it's gonna sound really bright. It's gonna sound very in your face. But if you're very delicate playing here on the keyboard, it's gonna sound very mellow. It's gonna sound very sweet. Of course, I forgot to add the macro one here on the filter cutoff, so that's very important if you want to have it. And something, instead of routing it into macro number 1, we can route it into macro number 3. Click here on the invert, and now honestly really like just having the release all the way up. And now we can go into our creative effects, and we can, for example, add a ping pong delay. Have it very, very, very fast with like 16th. You can link them. Have it very, 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 very long. And really now all that's left for you to do here in Serum is just to really express yourself and be very creative and just really play around with the sounds here. So you can now really experiment and really change things around. So for example, you can slightly change the EQ curve. You can change the wavetables to a different one. For example, if you want to have a square wave instead. So there's an endless possibility of creative options that you can now just use and do with this preset. And I've created a small little Serum preset pack that has 10 really awesome analog inspired presets for you to check out. So the download link is down in the description. And if you want to check out the wavetables, or if you want more presets, we have our full pack, which has 100 analog inspired Serum presets for you to check out. So the link is also in the description. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching this video. As always, don't forget to like and subscribe and comment down below. Will you be adding these techniques into your sound design to make it more organic and make it more unique? Leave a comment down below so that we know that you guys really enjoy this content. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. This was Raphael from Black Lotus Audio, and I'll see you in the next one.